pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to welcome you all to Tommy Doyle's at Sidelines to honor our own Alan Leary Pesovich. A woman that deserves this and much more for what she's done for every candidate, starting with Ann McCormick down. So she just deserves this and much more. She does for everyone.
Oh, I just wanted to thank you very much. This started a couple of years ago. Archie Gormley was the last one who received this award. And Archie, there was a great night at the perfect place because you're the perfect firefighter, Archie.
Okay, you later.
But as everybody knows, I used to work with Tom Kennedy, and he was a wonderful, wonderful guy. And you know, there's so many people in this room that Tommy helped. I can see so many people. My good and dear colleague Claire Cronin and Michelle DeBoer, and Senator Brady is on his way, as we know. Mike's always right on time, just like Tommy was. You know that, Ellen. But this was a great idea. I want to thank Peggy Curtis for putting this all together. Peggy Curtis did a fabulous job. Thank you, Peggy. And you're clapping for yourself. Good for you. It's a great crowd. We weren't really sure what was going to happen with tonight, but it came out very good. And what an honor that Alan Pesovich is getting this award.
Yes.
And driving over here, I remember that she ran back in 1983. There were 11 people on the state reps race. But as I was thinking, I said after Tommy actually won, and all 10 got back on board to defeat Larry Novak, who was still around, and so that was great. And I just wanted to send our best wishes from the state delegation.
Thank you. Thank you, Jerry. Do any of our other state... Clea, did you want to say a few words? No? Okay, good. All right, so with that being said, John Buckley.
Hello, everybody. I am the permanent intermittent pitch hitter for a lot of places. So I had a call this morning that Suzanne Bump was under the weather, and I was asked whether I would introduce Alan Pesovich for this award. Clearly, you heard earlier that Alan Pesovich's first campaign was a local school committee election. And if anyone has known Alan over the years, you know how dedicated she is to the John Walsh Kool-Aid of local campaigning, knocking on doors and getting people out to vote.
Yes.
Alan's done that for so many elections. I'm not going to mention every campaigner would be here all night, but she's not only worked for many local campaigns, she's worked on United States Senate campaigns, she's worked on many governor campaigns, and she certainly helped all of the elected Democrats in this room get into the position they're in today. So from all of the elected officials that Alan have helped, could we just have a hand for that first, for Alan? So the award she's getting tonight is for a person who was not only a great public servant, but he was a friend to all of us. And one of the things that Tommy Kennedy and Alan shared, it's one thing to work for a candidate, it's another thing to be friends with the people you're working with. And it's that humility, that dedication, and that belief in the democratic values that we all share and the continuation of that for many decades is why I think she's a great person to get this award. So I have a presentation here. I'd like to call Alan up, and this is the first of many, because many of your other friends have similar thoughts. And it's certainly not coincidence that the Thomas Patrick Kennedy Award is going to Alan O'Leary Pesovich in this St. Patrick's season. And of course, the certificate is green. Thomas P. Kennedy Lifetime Democratic Achievement Award, awarded this day, March 14th, 2019, to Alan O'Leary, right?
No, it's not. My
Leary.
father dropped the old.
You dropped the
coming
old.
across.
Alan Leary Pesovich. Congratulations, Alan.
Thank you so much.
And you get not only the certificate, but you get this beautiful thing for your mantle. Thomas P. Kennedy Lifetime Democratic Achievement Award presented to Alan Leary Pesovich by the Brockton Democratic City Committee.
Oh, thank you.
And there are many of your other friends that will be coming to this podium.
Yes. John,
Okay.
Oh, my sweet.
keep the time for.
We're gonna do a picture.
Go ahead, jump in. Go ahead.
You're in.
Cheese.
No, say Democrat.
Democrat.
Shamrocks, right?
Lifetime.
Winning.
Winning. Winning.
Perfect. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's fine.
Go to Washington.
Let me walk over now. Alan, we want to say thank you. How many people know if a Democrat's going to get elected in this state and certainly this region, who's the one person you're going to call on to help run your campaign? Alan Pesovich. I met Alan back in Michael Dukakis days when I first was getting involved. And Alan, I still back then, you always were able to give us the values of why we are all Democrats. You talked all the time what you did in the housing authority to help people who could be disadvantaged, why they deserve to have something better. You made all of us want to aspire for what we could do in the future. Every one of us, and I know Mike Brady's coming, you had so many of us who you said, you can make a difference if you want to run for office, and indeed you inspired virtually every person who said, how many people here have seen Alan in action with their campaigns, right? There we go. So Alan, and we heard from Senator Warren's office, we heard from others. I'm here on behalf of Senator Ed Markey. I'm his state director. I had been a state representative.
Yes.
Thank you. Ed Markey, what do people think of Ed Markey? Hey! But Ed Markey would not be our U.S. Senator if it weren't for you, Alan. And he wanted, on behalf of himself, for the entire delegation, I know Stephen Lynch, everyone, folks really appreciate your dedication. Folks appreciate your humor. Folks, if you've worked for her, appreciate how no one works harder than Alan. She'll be the first one at the campaign office. She's the last one to close the door. You're always there to help us. So, yeah. And on behalf of Suzanne Bump, who couldn't be here, my role was to introduce Suzanne, who we all know and love as being a great auditor. There's proof. Suzanne says that there's life after being a state representative. She went from being a state representative to auditor. She wanted to, just very briefly to say that she wanted to let Alan know that in nearly 40 years of her knowing Alan Pesovich, that he always saw you as inspirational, not just because of your wisdom and your leadership abilities, but because you never were content doing just the planning. You did all the work. You did the door-to-door work. You epitomize a saying from a female politician whose worldview she doesn't share, but she understood gender differences. The words of Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, who said, if you want something said, give it to a man. If you want something done, give it to a woman. So we have citations from Suzanne Bump and from Senator Markey. We have certificate of special congressional recognition presented to Alan O'Neill Pesovich.
O'Leary.
O'Leary. Oh, look over here.
Just plain Larry.
Leary. Alan Leary Pesovich. Presented to Alan Leary Pesovich for your civic activities, receiving the incredible Thomas P. Kennedy Memorial Award. For those, all of us in the delegation, Michelle, Claire, we know Michael who's on his way. We saw Jerry already. All of us who had the privilege of serving with Tom know that what a tremendous honor that this is. In recognition of your outstanding and invaluable service to our community, signed by Senator Edward Markey and by Suzanne Bump, doing her auditor of the Commonwealth. Congratulations. Now, John has a call.
John has a call. Put it on speaker.
Go ahead, Governor.
Governor?
Governor. Put it on high.
Oh, Governor Dukakis.
Mike Dukakis.
Wish I could be there.
Wait a minute.
Governor, 1 second.
3,000 miles away. And just wanted to offer my Katie's congratulations and our everlasting thanks for all that you've done for me and for candidates like me and for the Democratic Party. And we love you. I just wanted you to know that.
I love you too, Governor.
Thank you, Governor.
Wow, what a surprise that was.
Well, we figured that would be a
Oh,
surprise.
that's huge. Huge.
And you deserve so much more.
Oh, gosh.
Sure. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I am good.
You do. Okay.
I'm ready. I gotta do
You
something.
want to do that now? Stay right where you are.
Yes.
There's more.
Oh, no.
There's more for you, Alan. This night has not ended.
These are tough to come by.
Yeah, these are.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you-
State legislators, please. Mike?
Really tough to come by.
Here.
Well deserving.
You want this?
Oops.
Claire, you want to do it?
Claire?
Okay,
Claire?
here we go. On behalf of the Massachusetts House, be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Alan Pesovich in recognition of... Oh, who's the old guy?
Recognition of receiving the 2019 Thomas P. Kennedy Memorial Award for your contributions to the Democratic Party in the city of Brockton and throughout the Commonwealth.
The entire membership sends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for good fortune and continued success in all endeavors.
Thank you.
And we love you.
I love you. And I love you all.
Thank you. Senator Brady.
Oh, my friend Michael.
Michael. Too many people up here. Yes. We'll move it around.
Hi, Michael.
This is fun.
Hi, Alan. How are you? Long time no see. Didn't we just come back from another campaign? We've got a great team in the city of Champions, the city of Brockton. It's from people like Alan Pesovich that make us the city of Champions, and we miss Red Sullivan as well. But I'm very honored to be your state senator, Alan, and this is another citation from the state senate in recognition of receiving the 2019 Thomas P. Kennedy Memorial Award for your contributions to the Democratic Party in the city of Brockton throughout the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And a lot of us elected officials in this room wouldn't be up here as your elected official without your support. And I hope you stick around for another 40 or 50 years
Oh,
because
yeah,
we're
probably.
going to need you. So
Planning on it.
God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Howard. Get some pictures.
You got some pictures, Jim?
There's one other person that wanted to say a few words, and that would be John Walsh.
Oh,
I know, he'll keep it short.
I just want to congratulate Alan O'Brien Pesovich. Listen, we all know she's Irish. We'll just stick whichever O and Nick we want to put in there. We're celebrating St. Patrick's Day. But listen, there's been a few fibs told tonight already in the fine tradition of an Irish celebration. I mean, first of all these people get up and say they've known Alan for 40 years and decades. The damn woman's 29 years old, so you're all figured out, I know that for sure. And when I appreciate the accountability opportunity, when you asked how many people have worked with Alan Pesovich, and damn near every one of you raised your hand. If you don't think that she realizes some of you have not actually worked, she's going to be on the phone with you next week to clear this up. Listen, I love Alan Pesovich. I have to concede that the first time I met her personally in a campaign, we were on the opposite sides. I'm blaming Buckley for that one. I learned my lesson, and forever since we've been together. And to take a minute to understand who Alan Pesovich is, clearly she's a woman of proud Irish heritage. She's a long-term resident and leader in the city of Brockton. She is absolutely a Democrat by any measure. And she's the particularly wonderful kind of Democrat who's willing to stand up within our party and call us out to higher aspirations and higher values when we need it. And I'm grateful. And listen, Mike Dukakis ain't calling from California for anybody. She's a friend of governors and senators and more because she is the kind of woman that we all aspire to be. With all these definitions of Alan Pesovich, the part that I am most proud to know her about, and the part how I would describe my friend Alan Pesovich, is she's a teacher. And her commitment to education. It is true if you want to win a campaign anywhere here, including statewide, and Alan Pesovich is not in your first 5 phone calls, you do not understand how politics works. But when I particularly like calling Alan is when I'm sending down to her some 20-year-old, brilliant, hardworking person who has no goddamn idea what they're doing. And somebody else has already thrown them out a couple times, but Alan catches that person, understands their strengths through whatever challenges, and when they're finished with their time with Alan Pesovich, they're the kind of people I would be proud to send anywhere because they have gotten trained by my friend Alan Pesovich, the excellent teacher, and I'm proud to be here and be part of this with you tonight.
Oh, are you kidding? Of course I would like to say something. I sat down today and thought about it. I've been thinking about it, and I said, oh, no, oh, yes. Yeah. I have to put on my glasses. Even though I'm 29 or whatever he said, I still need the glasses. Oops. I don't know. It's all this breathing that's causing me all these problems. Anyway, I am so happy to see all of you folks, because, you know, I love all of you. I really do. And I want to I'll hold the mic. No, I'll do it. No. In control at all times. In control at all times.
There you go.
I wanted to tell you, Suzanne Bump, I wanted to mention, if she were here, and she isn't, but she still deserves this. The last election, Suzanne Bump sat at my dining room table, and Suzanne Bump made 60 to 70 phone calls, asking people to come out and vote. So Suzanne Bump, the auditor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, was not above her or below her or in between, that she didn't come and sit and do. And we're going to hear a little theme like that as I talk a little bit. It's not long, but I hope it means something. I'm going to do the John Walsh thing. I'm going to be the teacher, if you don't mind. And I wanted to thank you, the Democratic City Committee. I've been a member for about 36 years of the Brockton Democratic City Committee. Michael Dukakis, my friend from California, who called in, said to all of us after his election, when he had the the campaign against King, and then he went on to become the governor. Everybody joined the committees, the town committees and the city committees. And we all, big and small, all looked at each other and said, oh, okay. So we all did. And pretty soon, along with June Chin and a few other people that are in this room, we all went down and joined the Ward 3 committee. So the Democratic City Committee grew. It did grow, and you couldn't get people in the room. There were 35 people in every room, just like it was. So I remember those days. I've been, my beautiful family, I have a lovely, this is my entire family. And Ben is our adopted son. Ben and I worked on the Seti Warren campaign, and we had the best time. He's a great, great guy and a great organizer. And the volunteers that I've met along the way, and you are scattered all over this room. From the Mike Brady campaign, we did a lot of fun with that. Every campaign that I've ever done, I've picked up friends that I've loved and will never forget my whole life. I am thrilled with all of you. Senator Tom Kennedy is a legend in Brockton and Plymouth County, and deserves every bit of the honor and gratitude we give him here this evening. He represented Brockton in the best possible way and had many loyal and devoted supporters. I remember Tom Cruise's father, God rest his soul, at a mobbed Kennedy fundraiser when I was very new to all of this. And passing out beer, and everybody laughing and happy and noisy and supporting this fine gentleman. Tom and I had one thing in common. We were both Irish. He won, I lost. But Brockton Dems couldn't get rid of me. I went to the mattresses. Do we all know what that means? You know, like the guys went to the mattresses where, not up front, but behind. I went to the mattresses and became a field organizer. Worked on many Democratic campaigns and had the time of my life. Fun, parties, telephone calls, sign holding, door to door. Over 39 years I was involved in some way, big or small, in from Democratic campaign to Democratic campaign. So that's a quick. But that was yesterday. And today is today. And the future is what we need to think about. I used to worry about getting Democrats elected. Now I worry about losing our democracy. What I took for granted, I see slipping away. I think a lot about it. I wrestle with it constantly. With this thought: what can an elderly woman who lives in a small city of 100,000 folks do to make a difference? I will share with you what conclusions I have come to, but more importantly, I want to ask you, what are your ideas? What are your ideas? I've come to what we can do together to make a difference. What can the Brockton Democratic City Committee members do to save our great country? This is where it starts. At the community level, the school committee, city and town councils, boards and commissions, and filling those positions with men and women of goodwill. I want to share with you what I think can make a difference. Number one, we must all, I mean all, contribute something. Big or small, we need to identify what we are able to do to ensure that democratic values are front and center. Turn the page. And those candidates who stand for what we believe in are given the support they need to be elected. Like Mike Brady. We must be sure that we do everything we can. Number two, that's the first thing. That's short. That's not big. Doesn't take any big understanding. Number two, we must be sure that we do everything that we can to get our supporters out to vote. It's really so simple. It is so simple. I dare you vote. An organized and dedicated election day operation. My favorite day, I might add. And I bring my daughter Annie with me. She's fabulous. You need to pay attention to the details of organizing a winning campaign. I remember with deep, deep, deep affection the many folks I have met over these many years. I was nothing without them. I just offered them the opportunity to be an important part of making our city, state, and country a better place to live. I thank all those wonderful, smart people whom I met along the way. Folks like George Pappas, Richard Sergi, Stuart Rahm, Gus Bickford, John Walsh, and all the enthusiastic young people who have made campaigns successful like Ben. Being a politically active Democrat has never, never, never been more important. Choose your candidates and become a committed volunteer. This is how each one of you can make a difference. And on behalf of myself and my family, I thank you for this tremendous honor. I really do. I never expected it. I never in my whole life. But you know what? I had a hell of a good time doing it. Thank you.